Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. I don't really make a lot of videos, but today I want to talk once again about this game, Sea of Thieves. So, you can follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, check out the Welcome Wheel podcast. The links and everything are right in this glorious image right in front of your face, including Twitter, Patreon, you name it, whatever. Check us out. But today's topic. I really can't believe we're talking about this game so much, but it is a polarizing game. I will give it that. But what I'm here to talk about today is why Sea of Thieves is anti-consumer and why this game should not be supported. Now, it would not even matter. I guess it would matter if the game was good, but why this game should... Damn, we already got donations. Appreciate it, Wispions. Finally, Blackbond is here to spend time with me. Yeah, okay. Blackbond is the king. I am the king of hate. But back to the beginning of this video, why I believe that this game should not be supported and why I believe that this game is anti-consumer is simple. Imagine a world in gaming where we wait 4 years for a game. We pay $60 for that game that spent 4 years in the making. We get the game comes out garbage, the game comes out mediocre, the game comes out with little to no content, and then they tell us that we're going to drip feed you content and give you content across the months, weeks, and years. Is that something anybody wants to sign up for? For a company and or companies to spend 4 years making a game, selling it to you for $60, having less content than a free-to-play phone game, and then telling you that they're going to be giving you content throughout the weeks, months, and years. So what? We have to wait an actual 5 to 6 years to get an actual full-on complete game with a full experience? Like, what is this? That's absolutely out of control and absolutely inexcusable. I'm not co-signing for this. I would not co-sign for any game that is going for this model. I don't know what you want to call it, the pay $60 freemium cell phone game model, the games as a service model, the Sea of Thieves model. I call it the bullcrap model. And it is a Sea of Thieves because Rare and Microsoft are a bunch of thieves because that's exactly what they're doing to people with this game. They're stealing from you like a bunch of thieves. They spent 4 years making a game that has no progression, that has no level up system, that has no loadouts, that has no custom equipment, that has bare bones objectives and quests. It literally has a kraken with no body. It's just a bunch of worms sticking up out of the ground. But this is 4 years development time. And now we got to hear, but if you don't like it, that's not Microsoft's fault. That's your fault. In actuality, it is Microsoft's fault because it's Microsoft's fault because it's their job, it's their business to make games that the consumer wants, to make games that the consumers are interested in, to make games that satisfy the consumers. And yeah, I know the game is charting high on Twitch and the game is charting high on the sales charts, but hey, so did No Man's Sky. A game that isn't exactly popular can still come out to high ratings or high sales ratings or high sell-through or high sales numbers in a dry month. It can happen, people. I don't know of any game that came out around Sea of Thieves. I honestly do not. And with the Xbox Live Game Pass, I'm pretty sure it had a high number of people playing the game. Microsoft hasn't released any kind of game in God knows how long. The last game I remember Microsoft releasing was probably a Forza game or Gears of War. Outside of that, I don't understand what Microsoft is doing because Microsoft has no developers. But right then and there, that is what they're doing. No other company would be able to get away with this. And honestly, I'm happy that Microsoft is not getting away with this. Imagine if Nintendo spent 4 years making a game. The game came out. The game has little to no content. And then they were going to say, oh, hey, we'll add content later. Imagine if Sony made a game spent 4 years on the game, constant delays on the game. The game came out little to no content. They said, don't worry, we'll give you content later. Why is content coming later after I had already waited 4 years for the game? No idea. And I know that's you, James, in the comment section. PM me for details, $5 per exposure. Oh man, this game is just an absolute disaster. It is an absolute disgrace to the name that is Rare. Go play a go play a Rare replay. Go play Rare replay. Go play all those old games and tell me that Rare was never a good developer. But then again, Rare today is not Rare of yesterday. I keep hearing excuses about how Rare has never been known for realistic graphics, about how Rare has always been cartoony and whimsical. And then I'm like, how do people forget about GoldenEye? What was cartoony, not realistic, whimsical, or cartoony about GoldenEye? And everybody has probably played GoldenEye. N64. If you haven't played GoldenEye on N64, then you're like a born in 3D gamer squared times 2 multiplied. I don't know what you are, but GoldenEye was made by Rare. And even after GoldenEye, we had Perfect Dark, an M-rated, mature game with blood, language, cursing. You could take people hostage, shoot at their limbs, make them beg for mercy, make them beg for their lives. And Rare's only been about whimsical things. What was whimsical about Killer Instinct, about Killer Instinct 2? Because I remember playing those games in the arcade, and those fatalities weren't exactly whimsical or cartoony. The honest truth is, people, Nintendo didn't sell Rare. Nintendo sold what Rare became. They sold Rare's empty husk. They sold Rare's rotting, empty remains. And for $250 million at that. And to me, that is the absolute biggest steal in gaming. $250 million, $250 million Nintendo got for selling Microsoft the diseased, rotting, dilapidated, deleted carcass of Rare. And that is just absolutely unbelievable and sad. I mean, think of how many studios Microsoft could have bought with that $250 million. Think of how many studios Microsoft could have bought for the $2 billion they spent on Mojang, the people that make Minecraft. Think of how many studios they could have bought, made, or developed for the money they bought Skype. But we know Microsoft's not going to do that because Microsoft is not interested in creating, developing, nurturing, gaining experience, creating, cultivating studios. They want everything to be as a service. They want a Minecraft service. They want Skype. They want Havoc. They want to have games for Windows Live. They want to have the Windows Live store. They want to have Xbox Live Game Pass. They want everything to be a service. Azure servers, the cloud, you name it. Microsoft isn't about building games. They're not about building studios. They are about constant monetization. Dark Cloud, with the pool of good developers that are grabbed out, do you think there are any AAA developers out there that Microsoft could buy to compete with Sony or Nintendo? They could have bought THQ. They could have bought Crytek. They could have bought the dudes behind Metro. I mean, there's a lot of developers out there. And you don't even have to buy them outright. You can make them a second party. Rare was a second party. Nintendo decided, this partnership isn't good, so we're going to sell our stake. I mean, I can't even imagine waiting 4 years for a game and then that ABC, you can unhide Wow Douche because that's actually a friend in real life who's an actual douche. But hey, he's cool. We do business in real world, so it's all good. But yeah, waiting 4 years for what? Sea of Thieves because Microsoft and Rare are both thieves. Thieves stealing money, spending 4 years on a game to sell to you for $60 to steal your money. But don't worry, we spent 4 years making you an empty game, but then, we're going to spend more time giving you content after you've already given us $60 for that game. That's part of the reason why I don't like PUBG on Xbox and why Fortnite is now running circles around it. I don't know what Bluehole is doing or Bluepoint or whatever the hell their name is doing with PUBG on Xbox, but the game runs like trash. The game looks like trash. The game performs like trash. The game handles like trash. Meanwhile, Fortnite runs like a dream on consoles, runs at 60 frames per second, is getting played by Drake, and everybody's freaking in love with the game. I don't know what to say about Microsoft, people, but again, you can say that I don't like Sony games, and that might be true. But one thing Sony does do is Sony brings up the level of competition. Example, some people may not like The Witcher 3, but everybody knows the bar in the next RPG is The Witcher 3. It's The Witcher 3. You may not like it, but you have to respect objectively that that is a good game, that is a quality game, and The Witcher 3 has raised the bar for what people and gamers expect for an RPG. Period. Sony's games, whether you like them or hate them, also raise the bar for what is expected in a game, from graphics to storytelling to narrative. Sony's making it more competitive for the gaming industry by raising the bar of what is expected of a good game. Nintendo, you don't even have to say anything there. Their games are pretty much always critically acclaimed. Whether you like their games or not, whether you think they're kiddie or not, Zelda's going to sell. Mario's going to sell. A new IP in Splatoon sold more than Halo 5. A new IP in Splatoon sold more than Gears of War 4. And even then, again, Horizon Zero Dawn sold over 7 million, inspired by The Witcher. Everybody's looking to level their game up and compete, but Microsoft does not do that. They're just looking for ways to monetize you, screw you, and make you pay more for less. Lawbreakers, which they had to turn around. Fortnite, yeah, that's never happening. But thanks to the donation, Steve Killa. I'm not sure what Microsoft can do next generation, to be honest, people. I don't even know. I honestly don't even know. And Great Exposure, why Razor Fist is upset about that game. I mean, I honestly think that he's just whining and crying. To be honest and to be fair, his points are valid for his taste alone in gaming. But hey, that's his taste, and I cannot speak for another man and what another man wants in his game. But I'm speaking to myself, and I'm speaking for myself that I believe that Sea of Thieves is a game of thieves, a game made by thieves, a game published by thieves, a game that is anti-consumer, and a game that should not be supported. Period. Like, why would you support this game? You want to support 4-year development cycles for no content? You want to support 4-year development cycles for an empty game? You want to support 4-year development cycles at $60 only for them to have to give you content across a year or two later to have a competent and or full game 5 or 6 years in total, 1 to 2 years after you actually paid $60? I mean, $60 is $60, people. Why are we even paying $60 for an empty game anyway, no content? If Sea of Thieves was free to play, this conversation we're having right now would not even be happening, because that to me is what Sea of Thieves looks like, a free to play game. But what they're doing is selling you a free-to-play game at $60. And you know who else tried to do that? EA, DICE with Star Wars Battlefront 2. They too tried to sell a $60 game as free-to-play. Sea of Thieves is no different. The only thing that's different is Sea of Thieves actually doesn't have any content or a progression system or anything. They're going to tell you to wait, and maybe we'll add that later. Unbelievable. And the crazy thing is people are too stupid and desperate to actually buy a game because their so-called platform of choice has no games that they're feeding right into this. Feeding right into this. I mean, feeding right into the Sea of Thieves, made by Thieves, published by Thieves, feeding right into it. Now, if you got the Game Pass, you know, for $10 and you tried it out, and hey, at $10, you know, maybe you could like it. Maybe you could try it out and be bored with it. But for $60, really? Really? That's absolutely absurd. Inexcusable. We got games like Scalebound being canceled because they got delayed too much and took too long. We got games like Fable that were canceled because they got delayed too much and they took too long. And yet we have a game called Sea of Thieves, made by Thieves, developed by Thieves, published by Thieves, that not only took too long, it's now sitting at a 67 again, dropped from 71 on Metacritic. Took too long, took too much money, spent too much time, came out with little to no content, and yet they released it. Microsoft thought that this was a good idea to release an empty game. You're going to cancel 2 games, but the other game has the same exact issues, possibly even more, but you're going to push that out. Makes absolutely no sense. And if you're thinking, hoping, and praying that Crackdown 3 and or State of Decay 2, both of which aren't made by Microsoft because Microsoft doesn't even have game studios to make games for any of their own IPs. And we could run down all lists of Microsoft's IPs. They have tons of them, some good, some mediocre, some bad, but regardless of which, they can't do anything with them because they have no studios to make games. And that is absolutely embarrassing. So even if Microsoft wanted to make a Mech Assault, they can't. Even if they wanted to make a brute force game, they can't. Even if they wanted to make a Mech Warrior game, oh, well, they're making one, but that's going to be on PC. But the point is, if they want to make a game, they can't because they don't have any studios to make games for them. Charles Quinton, thanks for the donation. Hell, Game Pass would be $120 annually. I had $10 a month, you're right. So let's look at some of Microsoft's IPs. I mean, they closed down Ensemble. So let's look down this list of pathetic-ass games that Microsoft has. Adera, never heard of it. Aegis Wing, never heard of it. Age of Empires, an actual good game they're actually doing things with. Age of Mythology, Ascend, Hand of Kui, never heard of it. Attic Attack, never heard of it. Azoric, never heard of it. Banjo-Kazooie, dead. Bankshot Billiards, irrelevant. Battletech, thankfully we're getting a Battletech game this year. Finally, I appreciate that. Battletoads, irrelevant. Black and White, dead. Blast Corps, dead. Blinks, dead. Bloodforge, dead. Bloodwake, dead. Brute Force, dead. Cobalt, never heard of it. Cobra Triangle, never heard of it. Conquer, dead. Crackdown, irrelevant. Crimson Alliance, never heard of it. Crimson Dragoon, or Crimson Dragon, not good. Crown and Council, never heard of it. Deadly Tide, never heard of it. Digger Rock, never heard of it. Fable, canceled. Forza, Okay. Fusion Frenzy, trash. Galactic Rain, never heard of it. Gears of War, good. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, trash. Gunpowder, never heard of it. Gunfright, never heard of it. Halo, good. Hexic, never heard of it. I completely forgot about this, but this really pisses me off. Microsoft did indeed buy High Heat Baseball, and High Heat was a good game. Why has Microsoft not released a High Heat Baseball game? That is, I mean, I know Sony has some kind of deal, but I believe that pertains to first party development only. Microsoft owns High Heat. High Heat is a good game. Microsoft needs to make High Heat. Jawbreaker, never heard of it. Jet Force Gemini, dead. Cameo, irrelevant. Killer Instinct, okay. Connectables, all the Connect trash are relevant. Trash. Mechasol, they can't make it. Mech Commander would love to see another one. The flight simulators, they're good. I don't even know if they're still making that. Minecraft, whatever. Perfect Dark, might as well be dead. Midtown Madness, we're not going to get another one. Monster Truck Madness, we're not going to get another one. Project Spark, canceled. Rally Sport Challenge, a good game, we're never going to get again. Rise of Legends, Rise of Nations, never. Like, half of Microsoft, no, 95% of what Microsoft even has in their portfolio is absolute trash. Trash, gutter trash. I have no idea how this company is going to survive next generation. And then people say, oh, but they had so many games at the beginning of this generation. That's because they bought, and they paid for them. Games like Dead Frame Rate weren't made by Microsoft. Games like Rise weren't made by Microsoft. Games like Sunset Overflop weren't made by Microsoft. Quantum Break weren't made by Microsoft. Recore weren't made by Microsoft. What else did they have? Come on, name me some Microsoft games that came out. I don't even believe Halo Wars 2 was made by Microsoft. Who made Halo Wars 2? Made by Creative Assembly, who is not owned by Microsoft. Creative Assembly is owned by Sega. Microsoft has no studios. They have nothing. They have a bunch of IPs. 95% of them are crap. And even if they wanted to make anything, they don't have the studios, the talent, or the manpower to make them. So you get a bunch of games early on that are bought and paid for by Microsoft. Then Sony and Nintendo come around and sell more than them. And then companies like, wait, why would we take money from Microsoft to put a game only on their system when our games flop when we could put it on PC and PlayStation and also make more money? And that is the dilemma that the Xbox brand is in right now. They don't have studios, they don't have talent, they don't have IPs, and they don't have any market share to push their weight around. During the 360 era, they had market share to push their weight around, to get games like Mass Effect early, to get games like BioShock early, to get games like Left 4 Dead early, to get games like Oblivion early. They had the clout. But Microsoft doesn't have any clout. They have broken dreams and promises. They have the cloud, the eSRAM, DirectX 12, and now the new one, ray tracing. Like NVIDIA and AMD and PC gaming hasn't been on that for the longest time. Sea of Thieves, people. A game made by Thieves, developed by Thieves, published by Thieves. Gotti 360. Let me get up there. Here's 2 snaps. Now roast Smooth about that trash. Oh God. Smooth can, damage control for this game all he wants, complain that people are complaining. I mean, that just sounds dumb to me, how he's going to complain about people complaining about wanting more. I never understood that. In what world are complainers bad? People normally complain because they want something to be better. They want something to be better or to be improved. That's why people complain. People just don't complain to complain. Just saying. Just saying. So that's really all I have to say about this trash ass game, this empty, barren wasteland of a game. My next video, possibly tonight, who knows, will be buy or sell Phil Spencer or that man, Satoru Iwata, because I really have lost all faith in Phil Spencer as the head of Xbox. I mean, he is absolutely terrible. He is a disaster. He does nothing. He's basically just trying to secure services and revenue to increase shareholders and to increase revenue, which is cool because that's his job. But as far as gaming goes, he has no idea what the hell he's doing. Period. No idea what he's doing. Angry Joe gave the game a 4 out of 10. I can already hear Kid Smooth and all the rest of the Xbox dudes crying about that. But when you think about it, what has Phil Spencer done? Absolutely nada. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Now, I like Phil Spencer. I like how he denounces fanboys and toxicity in internet gaming communities and the internet console wars and how he just denounces them and demolishes them in general. That's cool. And I like how Microsoft and Xbox are putting out, some kind of voice action filter that will penalize and punish people for being racist or excessively rude with cussing and cursing and carrying on. And that's cool. But maybe you should take a public relations position to speak to people. Maybe you should take a role more similar to Reggie Fils-Aimé, where you're not exactly making decisions, where you're not exactly affecting outcomes, but you're just, the face of the brand, the person out there to talk to the people. Reggie does that. Kimishima makes the decisions. Unfortunately, Phil Spencer is trying to both be Reggie and Kimishima. That is the problem. Good for PR, bad for gaming. Period. And now what do we have to look forward to on the Xbox outside of a Forza, because we already know that's coming? You have State of Decay 2, not made by Xbox, and I'm unfortunately hoping that it won't be like Sea of Thieves, because, I would actually like to have a game that has content. And then we have Crackdown 3, another game not made by Microsoft, because Microsoft doesn't have developers. They don't have studios. And that, could also be the problem. When you don't have your own development studios and you only hire developers that are mercenaries for hire, that doesn't exactly get you repertoire. It doesn't get you familiarity. It doesn't get you cohesiveness in development of gaming. So I expect Crackdown 3 to flop. I expect State of Decay 2 to flop, and people can say, oh, you're just hating on Xbox, and they really don't act like I can play all these games on my PC at higher frames, better whatever, than you can on your Xbox. Like, these games aren't on a platform I don't own. At least if a Nintendo guy, actually I do own a Switch now, at least if a Sony guy says you're just hating on our games because you can't play them, they're actually factually right in one regard, that I cannot play them because I don't own a PS4. But when you say I just hate Xbox and Xbox games, well, that doesn't make sense, because I can play all your Xbox games on the PC. Like Gears of War 4, which I own. Like Quantum Break, which I own. And Quantum Break isn't that good. But, the time for the video is over. Let's go through the questions, and then we will wrap this one up. Sea of Thieves is better than Mario and Breath of the Wild. Hell no. Crackdown is being made by 4 second-party studios. State of Decay 2 is being made by an indie team. That doesn't even make sense. 4 second-party studios. That just screams that the game is in development hell. That is too many moving parts for one game. What are you talking about? If you don't like a game, don't buy it. Yeah, we're not buying it. And I'm hoping other people don't buy it either. Complaining about a game you don't even want to play. Don't you see how crazy you are? 300 people watching. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I would have loved to tell you that when Battlefront 2 came out, and you have the nerve to tell me that. Don't complain about a game you're not going to buy. Because of people like me that complained about a game that they weren't ever going to buy, that loot boxes and everything were removed from that game. It's because of people like me talk about that game that I was never going to buy that developers are now put on notice about putting in loot boxes and pay to play and all kinds of crazy predatory practices and DLC nonsense. So before you don't talk about a game you don't plan to buy and that's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Go back in the past and actually look what that does in affecting change in the landscape of gaming. Because of people like me, hopefully, if there's ever a Sea of Thieves 2, or hopefully if Rare makes another game before being canned, they'll make a game with actual content. And when that actually happens, you can come back and say, thank you, Mr. Bond. We respect Grab by the Ghoulies. Oh, God. Blandrew, at least Microsoft got a reason not to use their IPs since most of them are bad. Sega got mostly heat. Yeah, Microsoft does have Jet Force Gemini Dark Cloud. That's owned by Rare. Damn, really? So Microsoft closed the flight simulation studio. So they don't even have that anymore. God damn. God damn. What are memorable Xbox games? Indie games like Cuphead and Ori. Yeah, pretty much it is funny about how people say that PlayStation was the indie station, but the two most memorable games of this generation from Microsoft that are actually new and different, that Microsoft was a part of either development or publishing, have been Ori and Cuphead. Imagine that. Xbox is Wii U 2.0. Xbox One is Wii U with third party support and no first party. That's really all it is. 1 billion for Minecraft. Yet there's not money to make games for Xbox One. Completely agree. In the OG Xbox and 360 gens, Microsoft basically robbed PC franchises and tried to hold them hostage. I mean, they didn't really rob them. I mean, they had a machine that was the equivalent of PCs around the time with similar architecture. So it made sense for the PC developers to put their game on both Xbox and PC. You develop one game and you can easily port it to two. And that was the problem with the PlayStation 3. Its architecture made it so that, people didn't want to really mess with it. One game, you'd have to build pretty much two separate games to do it. They could have made a remake of part two of Lost Odyssey or Jade Empire. Jade Empire is owned by BioWare. I do not believe that Lost Odyssey is owned by Microsoft. And even if it was, we already know these Microsoft guys don't like Japanese games. They talk all this crap about Japanese games. They talk all this crap about Japanese developers. They talk all this crap about Japanese studios, about Japanese people, and then wonder why the Japanese don't put games like Ni no Kuni onto the Xbox, but yet put them on the PC. Now, no offense, but if I'm a Japanese developer and I'm using social media, just like Kamiya, the guy who created Bayonetta, and I see people saying, I don't like Japanese people, I don't like Japanese games, I don't like Japanese styles, I don't like Japanese people. I don't like Japanese culture. Well, goddamn then. I guess my game doesn't have a market for the Xbox. That's exactly what I'd be thinking. But hey, that's just me. But Bond, I was told that games releasing like Sea of Thieves is good for the gamer. We can help fix the game once we pay $65 for it. Oh my God. I know you're being sarcastic, NGS, but that is just absolutely absurd. And the pathetic thing is people will actually say that. They will. Damn, Sea of Thieves greater than your hairline. NGS, you gonna take that? Kid Smooth isn't a real gamer. He asked for microtransactions in Bloodborne. Indeed, he did. Blandrew. One of the only times I'll ever agree with Blandrew. Phil Spencer has been trash. I've been said this. Everyone only hyped him up because he was anti-console war and went after Mooch and crap. I kind of agree. Like I said, he'd be better at PR, but not at actually making decisions. Phil Spencer denouncing fanboys doesn't make up for the fact that there isn't any real games for the Xbox. Completely agree. Okay, people, that about wraps it up. I'll catch you guys later, whether that's tonight, later tonight, or tomorrow, or whenever I see it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Be sure to check me out. Twitter, YouTube, check out Weapon Wheel. Links and everything are right there. You can follow the crew. You can follow the platforms. You can support it. You can subscribe it. Check us out. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. Take it easy and peace.